Friday, Thursday, PM session, morning session, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. I've done a review of each individual trading day and session, but I want to put this in video format so that I can refer back to it. I cleared the charts and I'll put them back on. This is the same chart, but this one has executions on it, and this one is on the daily time frame. This level will be the new weak open gap. That's the high to the low. That's this level. There are a series of opening gaps around this level as well. There's this one. There's this gap here. There's one more gap. There's this gap too. But I would use just this one because this was what I used. I had this gap here too because using the range it was farther from this one, so I could use it as a draw and as resistance also. But I'll make this one white because I have one more level I was looking at. This level here. And these levels, they were selected because price was at these levels, so they were just reference points, and I'll use this one as orange as well. These were most of the predominant levels that I used in price action this week, and I also used the opening range gap to take some of these trades. I'll talk about them. I've done a review about this price action. That was at the beginning of the video. I'll talk about what I did. Let's talk about what I did. On Monday, of the gate, price just kept pressing higher. This was at 4:53 p.m. and I was very aggressive this week. I was zoomed in so small, and I couldn't see most of the bigger picture most of the times. But I had an idea of what I wanted to see, but I was just in the small time frame, just trying to take these positions with very very tight stop losses, and I was getting stopped out a lot. So it's kind of like a study session or reflection session about what I did the whole day. So the logic behind this one was I wanted the PM session to give me a form of retracement, and at 1:30 price went for these highs. Initially I was watching the charts and I was thinking there was a level here on the 5 minutes. I don't want to go to the 5 minutes because I'll keep switching and switching. But there was a level here on the 5 minutes, and I was thinking if price would go below that, I would like to sell for the day. But thinking back and looking back at it, the range or the targets I was trying to reach for, they were too clustered. It would have been a day I would have walked away from. I did walk away from it. I think not with a lot of profit, but the engagement was too much on my part. It was exercising. It was an exercise. I enjoyed the exercise. Most of these executions are just exercise to try to desensitize or find a approach which it has been insightful so far. And the first time I took a sell here and I had my stops here, but I closed the position. That was this one. I closed the position because I wanted to see price come below this level here before I took any position. So I was just taking positions in here, very tight stop losses. I was getting stopped out, getting stopped out, getting stopped out, getting stopped out, and yeah. So this was it for me. I took one. Then I took a long here, even though the premise was bearish. I took a long here to try to recoup these ones because of the structure we had here, and I exited the position here. And during the final hour macro, price just sold off this inversion level I was looking at and kept pressing higher for the rest of the evening. Tuesday traded into that level, that is this level here on the daily time frame. I wasn't looking to do anything on Tuesday, and at 9:30 price made the low around here. So the opening range was here. As the open of the day was here at 16. Price failed to reach that level, just traded above this level. There's also something interesting here. Went for this high first, went for these lows, kind of like tricking people here, then tricking people here, then went higher, and yeah, just kept pressing higher for the rest of the day, Tuesday. And on Wednesday, now I'll speak about my fault here. At the close of the day, this is the close of this is the close of this is the close and open of the new day, that is Wednesday, even though it says Tuesday here. So I'll mark that low out. And there's an open range gap here since we're closing here at 16:15. The next open range gap will be here at 9:30, but it overlaps this daily level. So I'm just going to use this one as the open range gap as well. So those are my draws for the morning session, and I got those are my draws for the morning session. But looking back in hindsight, I was a bit shaken here because of the price action. It was FOMC day, so I was expecting some type of slow price action, but it delivered. And this is predominantly the model I've been working with, using the open range gap to determine what. But in hindsight now, I was looking back, and this is a range to this high of the range, and I should have been confident holding these positions to my objective. I made profit for the day here. But the opening price was very choppy. At 9:30, price went for these highs, sold off, and I wanted to see price just keep going lower, keep pressing lower, which stopped me out here. And then I took a long here, because now I took a long here, and it stopped me out at break even, because I was okay, let's see if price wants to go for these highs first, somewhere around here, before we see the sales. Because so I took the longs here, I got stopped out. I got really close here again, and I took on that long here, tried to reach for these levels, and I got stopped out. And then no, I closed the position because I saw that price took out the 9:30 high already, and we had all these open range gap here below price to fill. So I took a sell, and I held the position to these levels here. I'm glad I did, because I was stressing through the trade, not intentionally, but when it comes to a stressful situation, it's best for me to just get out. And price ran all the way back here, sold off. Model was completed at 10:59, and then we just did all this for the afternoon session. Then at very very surprising move here. But going into the day, I had this high and this low, and after all this high move here with all this range bound price action, I wanted to see a sell off, definitely, at least attacking the low or drawing back to this inefficiency here. That's why I had this one here. I had it. It was kind of like a middle ground for these two inefficiencies. And price. And price. Yeah, closed here for the day. After the close of the day, I had this high marked out and I had the low marked out. And I guess it was just intuition or experience that should draw to these lows, because of the type of range that we have here in price action. I think at the beginning of this is the open of the day. Did I talk about the open of the previous day? Yes, I did. Okay, price drew back to it. That was part of the model. So new day opening gap and open range gap below price. So at the open of this day, that is this place here at 16. That's 6 p.m. Price sold off, traded back to this high. So it's like anything above this inefficiency high just kept being rejected. But one of the major takeaways for this week for me was zooming out and just seeing the bigger picture of where you are at in price and how it helps you wait for some of the best executions. You're going to miss some of the moves, but I was so zoomed in and I was just being aggressive with these entries. I made a little bit of profit, but most of the idea was right and it could have been maximized. So price went here in London, sold off, and at this time here, I wanted to see these lows. I wanted to also see these lows here, but I sold, and then I closed, then I sold, and then I closed. I wanted to wait for this 9:30 to show me its hands, show me what it wants to do, because there was a little bit of I wanted the open range gap to show me what it wants to do. The open range was here. The open range high was here, somewhere around here, and the open range was here. Price went about 3/4 of it and sold off. But the logic behind the selling for me, beef pre, was this high. Was price went for this low. That trick we mentioned earlier, and then went for this high again. While I was expecting price to be bearish for a bit, and then I sold here. Then I got out at the low of the day here. That's this for one contract. And yeah, my demo was switching. I bought here, sold here, because I wanted to see if they were back. Seeing this move happen here, and you just got this piece of it, is it's it's like, how would you have managed yourself? Because this is a very large move, and then price traded to the low of the new day open gap, of this new week open gap. And that was discounting of any range so far during the week, because this low was a range. Now this highs, they are ranges, and that same day we saw this retracement back into the range. And during the PM session, because the candle was slightly below, just about here. Okay, yeah, that's about right. And I wanted to see price trade to this inefficiency to close the day. But first, I wanted to see some of that pattern I was expecting earlier in price action, where this was a fake move, and it will run down to this level here, take out these lows, then that would be my ticket. Yeah, but I think it said I moved enough in the morning session, so I don't want to do that. I took the position here. I was watching these lows here to take my profits there, because I'm just trading with one contract, and price just took me out, break even. Then some type of tail spin started where I felt like I needed to short this market. Don't took some kind of revenge plot, but I was conservative. I was just taking them, moving my stops real quick, because this was the major thing I had. There was a gap here I was looking at as well, that was holding this whole price action. So that's why I was being conservative with my stops. I was just taking. And yes, so I switched my position longs at this place here, because in my mind I had felt like, okay, this might be the low. But some of the major premises were just time. This is 1:30, and this is, so I was expecting the one, and this now here is 2. So in my mind I was like, okay, 2 p.m. Let's see if we can start something bullish with price action. We're still in the 2 p.m. hour, and I took the last bullish setup here, and I got stopped out. So I packed it in for the day, and that was the low of the session. During the 3:30 p.m. final hour macro, price reached for these levels here. That was interesting to see. And on Friday, I wanted the market to stay inside this candle because it's Friday. It's going to be a really slow day. But I wanted the new day open gap, the open range gap. There was an open range gap from this high, from this low. That's at 9:30 to somewhere around here. Somewhere around here, really close to this level. So that's what I was aiming for. I took the trade. I was late on the setup because if I was in it earlier, I would have taken the setup and gotten out at these highs. But yeah, took the trade. I took this one again, and I took my profit here. No, I got stopped at break even here because I was trading real aggressive. If I was going to get to those highs, I should get to those highs. Yeah. Speaking of ranges, we had this low, we had this high, had this high. Price sold off. Watching these things in real time is your sight can get skewed, and you might not see what you need to see or accept. You might want to force your will. Most of these setups, they had lots of confluences with the Dow and the ES. They helped me decide what I needed to decide. They helped me decide how we should be approaching price. Sometimes they can be a gift and a cost, because this was one of the instances where Dow was rallying at 130. 130, yeah. Never got to the 130, I'll switch to down in a bit. And yeah, so at this time, I was watching the chart at 240. Took a setup here, ran to these levels here. I took another setup, took another one contract, and then I got stop break even. And yes, revenge plot started. I started taking these. They were real tight stop losses. Some of these ones I never did immediately they moved. I just moved to break even. Break even. I was using this new day open gap, that's this level here, this new week open gap, as some type of support like this. But I had other plans, just kept pressing. The PM session just kept pressing lower, and I took a break for a while. Took a walk, came back. The PM session, final hour macro, took it long. I got stopped out. Took another long. Trailed real hard. Got stopped out here, but I wanted to see the price action reach for this. I had my take profit at this level. I wanted to see the price action give me this. Took me out, came back, trading to this level. Went for these highs, and that was it for the week. Closed the week out. So the ranges, once again, these ranges they keep coming up. Had the high, had the low. I said I would bring it down into the discussion. 130, price kept pressing higher. So at the final hour macro, which is here, some type of confluence, kept pressing higher. Saw these highs. Okay, so that was at the same time. That's 3:30. Yeah, it was a very insightful exercise. Lots of losing trade. Lots of losing trade. Most of them were close to break even, and my stops were very tight. Yeah, I started the week with Monday. Monday was Monday's date. 26th. Yeah, 811. That was the balance before. And 868 with lots of losing trade. Yeah, I took a couple of on Thursday and Friday was when I really went on tilt, but it wasn't too derailing. This one was the biggest loss I had on Friday, 87. That's two contracts loss. Then the final hour macro trade covered for that. So I'm covering this one for this, and the rest I'm taking them home. So that's it for this review.